Hello again. Now today's topic is design of bell crank lever. Design of bell crank lever. Last time we have started with lever and we have seen some basics about lever, and then we have taken a simple case of a lever where the effort and load is applied and there is a fulcrum somewhere in the middle. We have also seen then something called as a system design, where we have taken a case of a lever loaded safety valve where there was a lever of a different type, where there was the fulcrum was at one end and then the load was in the middle somewhere and then the effort was at the end. That was a lever of second type, which was an example of lever loaded safety valve. Now today we will take up another example, another type of lever, which is called as bell crank lever. Now what is a bell crank lever? Basically it is again a lever of first type. Lever of first type means fulcrum is at the the fulcrum is between the load and the effort. And moreover, in this particular case, for a bell crank lever, the shape of the lever is not going to be like a straight line, but the two arms of the lever, one going from fulcrum to one end, the other going from fulcrum to the other end, these two ends of the arms, the two arms which are there, they are going to form a 90-degree angle. That is called the bell crank lever. So let me first draw the figure. Okay, so now this is a lever where fulcrum is somewhere here, and at these two ends we are going to apply the load and the effort. So let me say, just show that this point is let's say load, and somewhere here there is effort that is applied, and as a result of that, somewhere here you are going to get the reaction force which is at the fulcrum. So all the three forces, they are shown. We don't know everything right now, but then they are shown and the distances are known. What is given for us is, in the data what is given for us is FT design, then you are given L1 and L2, and then maybe you are given one of the two things, maybe the load is given, and then you have to find out what is called as the effort P, then the reaction R, and many other things like diameter of pin. This is the diameter of pin. Diameter of pin we have to find out, and then the cross section here at this place. The cross section is B by T. So T and B is 4T. That you have to find out. That means you have to design the cross section, you have to design the pinhole, and some forces P and R you have to find out. That becomes the exercise, and maybe you can add to this exercise the fulcrum support. So also fulcrum details. Maybe I can call it a fulcrum bracket. The fulcrum bracket which we have seen last time, that is what we are supposed to do. So this is the exercise, and with this information given, we have to find out this. So how do we begin is like this. We start with, let's say we start with finding out the forces. So as you can see here, for the equilibrium, I'll write here for equilibrium, of the lever, P into L1, P into L1 equal to W into L2. So W is, P is W is given, P is not known, so you can find out how much is P you require. So at this stage P and W are known, then you can go to R. Now how do you find out R? Last time we have seen when the angle between the two arms is given, there is one formula. So according to that formula, R is equal to P square plus W square, and then whatever you written here, the angle is 90 degrees, so that will go. So what is remaining is only this much. So with this you can find out R. Okay. So we'll get all the forces acting. That means this part is already now done. So now let's move on to the design of pin and the cross section. So as far as the cross section is concerned, what we can write here is, write here to find cross section or to design cross section. Write here cross section itself. So the cross section is T by B. So as you can see here, when you are applying a load, there is certain distance is there. Because of that, it is creating a moment here. So I'll write here moment at section. I'll call it as AA. This is the section A. Suppose I call this as section AA. So at this place, you want to find out the moment. So that moment, if I call it as M, then that M will be equal to how much? Distance into force. So it is W into L2. Now see here, actual distance is this much. Okay, but I am taking L2, which is more, so we are taking moment more than what it is actual, which is not a problem because we are taking the worst case. So whenever you are taking worst case, there is no problem because the actual case is better than that. So let it be like this. So W into L2 is the moment, which you can find out how much it is because both the things are known. And after you get the moment, then the design equation says FT design is equal to M by Z, where M is known and Z for this section is 16 TB square. So from this, since B is equal to 4D, you can find T and B. So both the things you can find out at this stage. Okay, you will first find out T because B is in terms of T, and then substitute T 4 times, that will give you B. So at this stage you are getting the cross section here. Okay, so that means the cross section here is finalized. This taper you can apply suitable. Okay, there is no such a rule here. Shape can be anything. Maybe I will call it as, let's say, 20-degree taper on both sides. Okay. Now having designed the cross section here, maybe it will be some slightly more cross section will be here. Now the next thing is to find out the diameter of the pin and make some necessary changes or adjustments here. So to find out the pin diameter is the next. So I'll write here to find pin diameter, which is dP. Now how we will find out dP? That is the next thing. Now if you think that there is going to be a bracket, okay, and then in the bracket, like a fulcrum, in the bracket there is a lever placed and then there is a pin going through that. So it will form a kind of a joint like a knuckle joint, and as a result this pin here is going to be in double shear. So considering that the pin is double shear, we can write F shear design is equal to load upon area. So the load in this case you have to take is R, and the area for the pin is going to be, it is in double shear, so it is 2 times pi by 4 dP square. Diameter of pin square, pi d square by 4 into 2, because there are going to be 2 areas, and R by this area, that is the shear stress design. So you can find out dP, and of course as usual you have to round it out. So you'll get the diameter of pin as what was required here. Maybe I'll show here. This is obtained, this is obtained, this is obtained, this is obtained. So all the sizes are at the moment known to us, but then just by finding out dP the work is not over, because the diameter of pin what is shown here, it may not be safe in other kind of failure. Right now it is safe in shear because we are designed by considering the shear stress. But there could be a bearing stress also acting. It should not fail in bearing. There could be bending stress also acting. It should not fail in bending stress also. So they are the two things we need to check. So that we will do. I'll write here, checking the pin for bearing stress. So checking of pin for the bearing stress we have to carry out. So for that we will write F bearing induced this time. Now this is equal to load upon area. Now load here is going to be R, and now the area at this place is, now here the projected area we have to take. So diameter and the other dimension thickness. So dp into P. Now this stress should be equal to the bearing design stress. If it is less, we don't know, we have to find out. If it is less, that means it will not fail in bearing, and the dimensions obtained are safe in bearing, only in bearing. It is already safe in shear. Now the next thing is we are going to check it again for the bending stress. Now why do we bring into picture bending stress is because here the pin here will be having a scope for bending because there is a space. I will draw the diagram and then let us see how the pin is going to be a failure in bending, which we want to avoid. So that we will see just now. Okay, so now let us see what happens here. At this place there is a bracket, so I just draw everything again as a small size. Something like this is the shape what we are talking about here. And now this bracket with the lever inside, that is what we want to design, and that shape now I will draw like this, saying that this is the cross section, then here there is a bracket. This bracket is similar to what we had done last time. And then there is a pin. Okay, so this is the figure here at this place. So now the lever what we are talking about is this, and I'll just say that this particular length is what we are going to show here. Although this is different, but this is the section as such. So we are considering this length over here. Now what is this length? Now for getting this length, maybe you can do some assumption. Now if you consider this part something like a square, and for this square, if this is B and this is B, then this size is going to be root 2B, root 2 times B. Now what is root 2 times B? Root 2 times B is 1.433 times B. So we'll say that, I'll call this inclined size as B dash. So this is a B dash, and let's say B dash is, that is this B dash. So this B dash we are going to take, because there is some curvature here, there is a curvature here. So approximately it is less than this, 1.43. So let it be 1.3 times B. So B dash, this B dash let it be 1.3 times B. So we need some dimension here, some length here. So we have made some kind of a assumption, and according to that assumption we say that B dash is going to be 1.3 B, which is this B dash. So this height is B dash, and that is 1.3 B. So we know one size, the other size is the thickness, which we have already found out. In fact, we have designed this section T by B, and now we are considering this section, which is T and B dash. So here we have taken B dash, and here we have taken T. So that is a lever we have brought in position. Now on the other place, two sides, there is a bracket. So if this is T, I'll call this as, let's say, T1, T1, and then we'll say that let T1 is equal to half of T, and which is correct, because if T is sufficient, then this is divided, the load is divided 50%, so this can be half, T1, T1, and this T1 is half of T. So we know all these dimensions. We can also say that the clearance here, both sides there is a clearance, and let's say clearance is equal to, let's say, 1 mm. So clearance is 1 mm. So now the total length of the pin is T1 plus 1 plus T plus 1 plus T1. That is the length of the pin here. And now because there is a clearance here, there is a chance for the pin to bend. So pin can bend because there is a possibility of bending, because this bracket also can deform, everything can happen. Now what we are going to say is, this bending should not occur. For that we have to find out the bending stress that is induced here, and for that we say something like this. I'll draw the diagram, force diagram. So we can say these are the forces that are acting on the pin. I am showing the diagram is like a graphical representation it is. So what it shows is, if this is the length, you know what length we are talking about. This length what we are talking about, which is equal to, I'll write here, T1 plus 1 plus T plus 1 plus T1. So this total length from here to here, whatever is the length, maybe I'll show it here as X. So that is X. So this length of the pin is this much, okay, which we already know. So in this length of the pin, at this place and at this place, the forces are acting like this, and at this place the force is acting like this. And we are already knowing the force is R. So this is R here. So this R is divided. If I take only half side, then here it is R by 2, and on this side it is R by 2 here. Anyway, it is R by 2 on both sides, R by 2, R by 2, and R. I'll show here like this, R like this, R by 2 like this, and R by 2 like this. So this R is shared by these two, R by 2, R by 2. So out of that, if you draw the figure, then the figure will look like this, R by 2, here R by 2, and the middle R I am taking half of R by 2 here and one more R by 2 here. So having done this much, now let's consider only one side. This R by 2 is acting at the middle of this part. Now this full is how much? This full is T. So if this is T plus clearance, of course, T plus 2. So now this clearance we will ignore for the time being. So if this is T, then this is T by 2. Okay. So and this is T by 4. So this R by 2 is acting at a distance of T by 4. So this distance is T by 4. And where is this acting? This is acting at the CG of the triangle. Now CG of the triangle is 1/3 of this length. What is this length? It is T1. So this distance is T1 by 3. 1/3 of this distance is, this is T1. So this is 1/3 of T1. And then the remaining distance is, we already seen it is T by 2. This is T by 2. So now what we do is, we write the equation for the moment. So on this side I'll draw here separate, is the center line, and then only on one side I'll draw. Here this R by 2 is acting, and here this R by 2 is acting. Now this R by 2 is acting at a distance of T by 4, and this R by 2 is acting at, how much is this total distance? This total distance is, this is T by 2 and 1/3 T1 by 3. So I'll write here T by 2 plus 1/3 of plus T1 by 3 rather. And maybe some clearance also is there, which we will add now. So there is a clearance, there is this, and there is this. So clearance plus T1 by 3 plus T by 2, that is the distance where this is acting. So now since you know the force and the distance everywhere, now we will write here moment. Moment is equal to r by 2 multiplied by this minus this. So t by 2 plus t1 by 3 plus c and minus t by 4. So this into this distance is one moment, and because of this there is opposite moment. So this moment minus this moment, that is the net moment acting, which is this. So we know the value of moment that is acting on this pin. Now after moment we are now trying to find out Z. Z for the pin. Now the cross section of the pin is round. So for the round cross section, what is the value of Z? That is what we will consider. Maybe I'll write now here. So Z for the cross section, circular cross section, the value of Z is this. For rectangular we already seen it is 1/6 TB square. For round section it is 1 pi by 32 into dp cube. So out of this, now this is going to be induced stress. This is known, diameter of pin is known, so this is known, so everything is known. Now this should be less than the induced stress, this should be less than the design stress. If it is so, that means the diameter of pin is sufficient and bending stress will not exceed this value. Okay, so we have designed the pin for shear stress, got the value of dp. That dp we have checked earlier for the bearing stress, and the same dp we have now checked for the bending stress. If both of these stresses are within the limit, that means they will not fail under bending and under bearing. Shear they are anyway not going to fail. So at this stage the diameter of the pin is final. Now having found out the diameter of pin, now what we will do is the cross section which we have already decided earlier. Now that cross section now we will consider with a pinhole, and that too at this place. That means now we are going to check the cross section again considering the pinhole, that means dp. Okay, so I'll write here checking of